The whispering walls, the old house stood at the edge of Blackwood Forest, a skeletal silhouette against the bruised evening sky. Locals called it Blackwood Manor, but Whispers knew it as the House of Sighs. Ilara, a freelance photographer with a penchant for the macabre, had rented it for a month, drawn by its decaying grandeur and the legends that clung to its ivy-choked stone. From the moment she stepped inside, a cold, heavy silence pressed in. A silence that felt less like an absence of sound and more like a held breath. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and forgotten things. Her first week passed in relative calm, filled with the click of her camera, capturing the peeling wallpaper and the dust motes dancing in the weak sunlight. Then the whispers started. At first, she dismissed them as the wind, a trick of the old house settling. A soft, almost inaudible murmur that seemed to drift from the very walls themselves. It was never clear. Never a distinct word, just a faint, collective sighing sound, like a room full of people holding their breath. One night, she woke to it much clearer. The whispers were coming from the empty hallway outside her bedroom door. She sat up, heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs. It sounded like many voices, overlapping, indistinct, yet undeniably there. A shiver, colder than any draft, snaked up her spine. She tried to rationalize it. Old pipes, the wind, her imagination. But the whispers grew bolder. They followed her from room to room. When she sat in the grand, empty drawing room, they would rise from the velvet drapes. In the kitchen, they'd seep from beneath the ancient floorboards. They were never threatening, never malevolent, just ... mournful. A chorus of silent suffering. One afternoon, while developing some photos in the makeshift darkroom she'd set up in the cellar, she heard it directly beside her ear. A single, clear whisper. Gone ... Double quotes Ilara dropped the print in the developing tray, splashing chemicals. Her breath hitched. It was a woman's voice, soft and filled with an ancient sorrow. She fled the cellar, the echoes of that single word chasing her up the narrow, creaking stairs. The next day, driven by an insatiable, terrifying curiosity, she began to research the manor's history. Old local archives spoke of the Blackwood family, who had mysteriously vanished one stormy night in the late 1800s. No bodies were ever found. No trace of them remained, save for their abandoned home. The official report stated they simply disappeared. As Ilara read, the whispers in the house grew almost deafening, a cacophony of hushed laments. She realized the whispers weren't from individual ghosts, but the collective memory of the house itself, a tapestry of sorrow woven from the last moments of the Blackwood family. They weren't trying to scare her. They were desperate to be heard, to have their forgotten story acknowledged. She found the last entry in the family diary, hidden beneath a loose floorboard in the master bedroom. It was Lady Eleanor Blackwood's trembling script. The last words faded into an illegible scrawl, but one sentence stood out, chilling her to the bone. The house ... it hungers. It claims us, one by one. Soon, there would be nothing left but the whispers of what once was. Ilara slammed the diary shut. The house was not just haunted. It was a living entity, a silent predator that consumed its inhabitants, leaving only their spectral echoes trapped within its walls. She wasn't just hearing the past. She was becoming part of it. The whispers were no longer just the Blackwoods. She could feel her own fear, her own frantic heartbeat joining their silent chorus. Se ran. She didn't pack her bags, didn't grab her expensive camera equipment. She just ran, the mournful whispers chasing her out of the manor, through the Blackwood forest, and into the fading light of day. Ilara never looked back, but sometimes on quiet nights, when the wind howled just right, she swore she could still hear it. A faint collective sigh, whispering, gong ... gong ... gong ... Double quotes, a haunting reminder of the house that still hungers, waiting for its next occupant.